Hello and welcome back to Shulchan HaRav. We continue in Hilchos Shmah, Siman, Samech, and we pick it up in the middle of Sif Hey. We're talking about Kavana and where is the Kavana required in Shmah. What we said up until now, that one has to have Kavana to fulfill the mitzvah and to know what he's saying. That's in the first pasuk of Kriya Shema, Shu Shema Yisrael, the Shema Yisrael pasuk, Shu Ikar Kabbalas Malchus Shemaim, which is the main way we accept upon ourselves the kingdom of Shemaim. V'chein bebracha rishona shel tefillah, and the same thing in the bracha of Avos in Shmona Esrei. Avam mei ve'ahavta ve'elach, from ve'ahavta and onwards, eina kavana me'akeves b'di'evet, but after the fact, the kavana of doing this mitzvah, the requirement of having in mind you're doing the mitzvah is not necessary, even after the fact. Even if a person just happens to be laning or reading in a chumash, or magia parshas, or he's a sefer and he's fixing up parshas of a mezuzah or a sefer torah, parshas these parshas, or in tefillin, but and he happens to be doing this at the time that there's a mitzvah to read the Shema. He's yaitze just by reading them, even though he does not have in mind to fulfill any mitzvah. And as long as he does have kavana in the first pasuk, like we said, because the main Shema de'araisa is only that one pasuk, that first pasuk, shehu min HaTorah. That's the Araisa requirement. V'ashar shetiknu chachamim, the other paragraphs that were set into this mitzvah by chachamim, lo yitzrichu kavana el lechatchila. Only lechatchila did they have to have. Do people need kavana? About im kara hashar b'lei kavana. If a person read the rest without having kavana, ein tzarich lachzor v'likros. He does not have to go back and read them again. Bein shekara b'lei kavana latzes. Whether he didn't have kavana to be yotza mitzvah, bein shaloi b'kavana sa'inin, or whether he didn't have in mind what these words mean and what's going on in the words. And even according to those who say that rabbinic mitzvahs do require kavana in order to fulfill the mitzvah, nevertheless, by this mitzvah of Shema, kivin she'ena mitzvahs asiya, it's not a mitzvah where you're actually doing something physical like lulav or tefillin or whatever. El kabbalas malchus shemayim v'ol mitzvahs. It's a acceptance of the kingdom of heaven and the yoke of mitzvahs. Shehu davar hatali b'kavanas ha'inyan. That's all dependent on what the words mean and what's kind of going on in the sentences. So therefore, since there's no requirement to go back and reread it because a person was lacking in the understanding of the concepts being discussed, then also therefore it's also not required to go back and reread it because of the lack of kavana to fulfill a mitzvah. Because what gain is there to go back and read it without knowing what's going on anyways? But and it's enough that a person is required to just read it every day. Through reading it every day, he will come to accept these words in his heart in most situations, most of the time. Because lichatchila, you've got to read at least the first pasuk with kavana. Elashim ira mikra, if it happens shalenis kaven, that you didn't have kavana one time, lahi tzrichu lachzor, there's no requirement to go back. Aval ha'imrim sheme'ahavta ve'elachu gam kein min ha'torah, but according to those opinions that say that even from ve'ahavta and onwards is also a de'araisa, a Torah requirement, sarich kavana latzes b'kol mashu min ha'torah, and therefore you have to have kavana to be yotze the mitzvah in all the stuff that's from the Torah, all the psukim. Aval kavana sa'inyan, as far as having kavana of what the words mean and really being explained in those psukim, that's enough to just know what's going on in the very first pasuk, according to everybody, after the fact. Have a terrific day.